But I guess it's Steve. So a few people have been suggesting me to do this. It's sort of like two videos in one. Clorox Bleach wants to know, is Kyrie Irving a top five point guard in the NBA? And my man Troy Williams asked me to do top five point guards in the NBA so far of the 2016-17 season. So this will pretty much be those two combined. So Clorox, you'll find out if I think Kyrie is top five. So here we go. So first of all, the first thing that comes to mind when I look at something like this is like standings and things like that. So, first of all, this is going to surprise a lot of people, but I'm going to give James Harden the nod over Russell Westbrook. And, I know he's not averaging a triple double, but he pretty much is. It's like 27 and a half points per game, 8 rebounds, and 12 assists. That's pretty close. It may not be what Russell Westbrook is averaging, who I'm pretty sure Russell Westbrook at this point in time is averaging 32, 10, and 10. Obviously, like I told you guys in the beginning of the season, I don't think Russell Westbrook will finish averaging a triple double. He's too short. As much as I hate saying that, his height does not support him with the rebounding, which is why his rebounding is going down. He's averaging 10.4 when it used to be 11.5 and things like that. It's going to continue to go down throughout the season, but still a historic season for both of these guys. But the thing that stands out from James Harden is the fact that the Houston Rockets right now, as of December 27th, are 23-9 in the Western Conference. That's absolutely ridiculous. They have a better record than the Los Angeles Clippers, than the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, this is crazy. They're 2 games behind the San Antonio Spurs, and they're only 4 games behind the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, he has some help, but he lost Dwight Howard, and he's still in a top seed in the Western Conference, so he can have home court advantage in the playoffs. This guy is that good. He's honestly that good. And I know a lot of people say, oh, he's overrated. He's not that great of a scorer. It's mostly free throws. Do you know how, first of all, the fact that he even goes to the line 10 times and makes 84% of them is good? That's ridiculous. 84% free throw shooter for someone that's around 6'6", 6'7" that's great. And then that's close to 90%. And then on top of that, even getting to the line and drawing contact is extremely hard on the body. That's really hard on the body. And so far this season, I know I don't really like to go into advanced stats, and I really don't care about that kind of stuff because I think PER is kind of a BS stat. But I mean, he has a 27.4 PER, which is pretty high. And he has 6.5 win shares. That's pretty good, man. So I mean, just the fact that the Houston Rockets are that high, I have to give James Harden the nod. He's having an incredible season, and him or Russell Westbrook deserve MVP. And this goes on to the next person. Russell Westbrook is surprising me this year. I knew he was going to have a great year. Like I said, I knew he would probably average close to a triple-double. I still don't think he will, but at this point, he's averaging 32, 10, and 10. That's amazing, actually. And he had some ridiculous triple-doubles this season, especially against my New York Knicks. Why is it that it's always against the New York Knicks? Always. It's always against us. But anyway, he's leading the Oklahoma City Thunder to a 19-12 start. That's pretty solid. They're around the 5th seed. I predict they're going to finish at a lower seed in the conference just because I think Houston, San Antonio, Memphis, and Golden State are more durable than the Oklahoma City Thunder, because if anything happens to Westbrook, they're not going to win any games. It's going to be like Carmelo Anthony last year. They're going to be like 0-10 without him. So hopefully nothing happens to him, especially the way he plays. I think OKC will finish around a 7th seed. And by the way, do you see the Utah Jazz? And do you see Gordon Hayward? That guy, man, deserves to be an NBA All-Star. He's having an incredible season. That's one of my favorite players right now. Next up for number 3, we have Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry, even though he had that embarrassing game against Cleveland, and he actually did hit a clutch 3, but I mean he really didn't show up, and his stats did go down just like I predicted. I predicted he'll finish the season around 22 points per game, and I still think he will. He's averaging 24, 4, and 6 at this moment, and I still think it's going to go down to around 22, 21 points per game for the end of the season. He's shooting pretty good from the field, 40% from 3, 47% from the field, and 93% from the free throw line. Again, he's doing his thing. He'll probably be in the 40, 50, 90 club again. Actually, probably not the 50. because he's shooting 46% from the field, and that's going to be hard to get up, especially at this point in the season where we're getting towards that midway point. But I mean, still an incredible season. The Golden State Warriors doing their thing with 27-5 record. Obviously, they just took that L by my man LeBron James. Do you see the memes right now of Stephen Curry like hiding his face on the bench? That was so hilarious. I was dying when I saw that. That was freaking hilarious. Next up, we have my man Chris Paul. Now, Chris Paul is the type of guy that when you look at his stats, you're just like, you know what, it's all right. But with this new generation of point guards, they're all scoring point guards. You know, they're not like what it used to be, like your Steve Nashes, your Darren Williams, your Jason Kidds, your Chauncey Billups, you know. It's not like that era. And Chris Paul was a part of that era, and he's still in this era, and he's still dominating, which is ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous. So anyway, Chris Paul's averaging around 18, 5, and 10, which are pretty good stats. You know, when you look at it from face value, it's like, they're decent. But you have to understand that he's a pure point guard. He's not going to get you 25 points per game. Even though early in his career he averaged 23 and 21 and things like that, he's not going to get you 25 points per game. But that's just not the player he is. He's a great defender, great passer. You know, he can score still, but just not dominantly. He's a great player. And for the Los Angeles Clippers to have that amazing start that they had, at one point in time, they had their best record in the NBA, you know, and they're still a top seed, even with Blake Griffin out. Now, they did lose 3 games now, and this is kind of why I've been saying Chris Paul's coming to the Knicks, just because, you know, again, another injury with Blake Griffin. You know, it's like he's never going to be healthy. It's ridiculous. 3 years in a row, man. But anyway, so the Los Angeles Clippers, you know, they're having a solid year. Unfortunately, yet again, another injury. They're going to slow down, but, you know, it happens, and it's a long time without Blake Griffin, man. So they're probably going to drop in the seedings. And you're probably going to see Memphis, because I think Memphis is still going to finish as a top 3 seed. And, you know, even Utah is probably going to finish ahead of them. You know, even though it's crazy to sound, but Blake Griffin is that good, you know. But maybe Los Angeles will finish around 6 seed, around there. But anyway, next up, we have, for number 5, I have my man Kyrie Irving. Now, this used to be Dame Dolla's spot. The reason why I swapped Kyrie Irving for Dame Dolla is because Damian Lillard, you know, his team is not having a great season. They were pretty decent last year, but this season, they're really not that great. And it's pretty sad because, you know, I had high expectations for Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers. I thought he would be an MVP candidate, but, you know, things happen, and Kyrie Irving, he's clutch. I still think, you know, Damian Lillard is it's hard to explain. I would take Damian Lillard over Kyrie, but I would say Kyrie's having the better year. You know, that happens. You know, like, for example, I would take LeBron James and Kevin Durant over Stephen Curry, but Stephen Curry had a better regular season than both of them did. You know, it's sort of like that. I still think Damian Lillard is a better player, but who's having the best season so far is definitely Kyrie Irving. You know, the thing that I think Kyrie needs to improve on is his playmaking ability, and he's a ball stopper. As soon as he gets the ball, he like throws up a shot, and he takes some silly shots. But hey, he's young and he can score the basketball, and he has LeBron on his team. He has Kevin Love, so he's a great future. The Cavaliers are doing their thing. Kyrie is definitely a top 5 point guard in the NBA. So hopefully I answered your questions. It's been Steve. If you want to recommend some more videos in the comment section below, please go ahead. I'll make sure and I'll do them. I'm out. Peace.